Okay, so this is the third in the series of videos that I'm calling the Preset Doctor series. And these are videos where folks will share presets with me over Cortex Cloud and ask me to look at them and ask my thoughts and opinions. And as always, we're going to take a look at this preset. We're going to, maybe make some tweaks to it. But again, just because I do something a certain way doesn't mean it's the only way to do it or necessarily even the best way to do it. I'm just following, the things that I've learned over the 3 years I've had my Cortex in terms of getting results that I think work pretty well. But before we jump in, please hit the like button. Please leave a comment. Those things really help small channels like mine. If you like the video, please consider subscribing. And if you're interested in picking up a Quad Cortex, there's a Sweetwater affiliate link in the description below. All right, so here we have our preset. And the first thing I notice is we've got a couple IRs that we don't have loaded up. So I'm just going to throw in a few things. Let's look here. So this one's used for a clean tone. So I'm going to go ahead and throw in kind of one of my favorite amalgam ones. Maybe we'll try the EV12 mix ones. And then, okay, this one's using cab. And this one's for a solo. So let's go ahead. Maybe we'll use a Marshall kind of. We'll use this one here. All right. So we got a little bit of buzz going on. Do we have? Let's go ahead and turn on the noise gate just to make sure we keep that under control. I'm going to leave that on all the time. And let's see what we got. So the clean tone. It's very trebly. Let's try one of the rhythm tones. Oh, you know what it is? You see here, they have the wah hooked up to an expression pedal. It looks like a volume hooked up to the expression pedal as well. So, the wah is. So it's hooked up. We're going to just turn these off for now because we don't have an expression pedal hooked up. So we'll leave those off. We'll just leave them be. And let's hear what we got now. That's much better. So let's see what we got here for the clean tone. So we've got an opto compressor, good amount of compression going on. We're running into a Bogna Vishnu clean. Not bad. We've got our IR. And what do we got here? So we have a low high cut after the clean amp. So I think just to save space on the preset, because you can see the preset's got a lot of stuff here. In fact, they're using second lines just to have more space, because if you look at this splitter, it's pushing everything to B. So it's basically going along here and then down to this line and then down to row 3. And I think this is even doing the same thing to where it's only adding in this row 4 just to have more space. So let's save ourselves some space. I'm going to get rid of this low high cut and we're just going to put that here. He had it at 12,000, which is kind of high, but so you don't really even need to, and I might lower this a little bit to maybe 9. Oops. So we just saved ourselves a block. And we're going through another EQ here. So pulling back the 400s, pushing 700, 1300, 3300, and 5400. Interesting. I wouldn't typically push those kinds of frequencies. I would probably bring this down just a little bit. And then for this one, I'd rather be closer to kind of the 2000 range. Put it at 2500. The same for this. I bring it down just a little bit and maybe push this one up just a little bit. So, the person that sent me this preset, they play in a band with several guitarists. They mostly rhythm, but they do take some leads. And their big concern was making sure that you could hear them in the mix. And from what I know, obviously, when you talk about guitar frequencies, there are some key frequencies that are important. So you've got the 800 hertz, which is kind of that Boston Tom Schultz frequency. You've got 1000, that's your tube screamer. 2000 is something that I've seen used a lot. Trevor Rabin uses a lot. A lot of the 80s guitarists, the studio guitarists would use the 2000. That's a key frequency for kind of poking through the mix, especially if you've got keyboards and things like that. So that's kind of why I brought up this frequency, or brought it down more into the 2000s. I thought 3300 is a little too high, and pushing this kind of 54, 5500, it's a little bit more. I get it where you want some more top end, but felt like it was a little too much. So again, these are personal tastes. You might want it to be a little different, but I feel like we're keeping the general feel of what they're doing with the EQ here, but maybe we're adjusting it just a little bit. And then the back end for this one, you've got a plate reverb, pretty standard. They did push the low pass up a little bit just to get a little more top end in the reverb. So that works. This one we're going to add, okay, we're adding in a flange and we're adding in a delay. Not a bad sound. That's an awful lot of delay. Let's look at the delay. So they've got a simple ping pong delay, and they have an analog delay for other ones. So, the analog delay and the ping pong delay, they are slightly different delays. I would probably, though, collapse these into one. I think you can get a really close approximation to this ping pong delay using the analog. So let's go ahead onto the analog, and we're going to assign everything to scenes. Important stuff anyway. So if we go back to how the ping pong is set, so it's about 40% mix. So let's go ahead and do that for this one. Feedback was at 34%. You've got the tone down a little bit, so kind of warm it up. So we'll just bring this back down to default to 3000 just to warm it up a little bit. Maybe even bring a little further down than that. 500 delay time. So that's the same here. Let's go ahead and we'll get rid of the mod depth. We'll get rid of the drive. I think the width was at 100. And then obviously we want to turn on the ping pong. So if we just listen to the difference. So here's the analog delay with kind of the same settings. And let's hear the ping pong. So it's a little different. But I think it'll work well enough. So I've switched all the ones over that were using the simple ping pong to use the analog with the ping pong turned on. And I think it works well enough. So we can go ahead, we're going to kill that ping pong delay. So we've got the wet, which is turning on a chorus and is adding a second EQ. So this one looks like it's pushing a little bit of 500, but mostly 1K and 4K. I would probably bring that down and push the 2K a little bit more instead of the 4K. The delay's a little much for my taste. I don't like super wet sounds. It's funny, some people complain on my videos that there's too much delay and reverb, but I find a lot of the presets that I look at have a lot more delay and reverb than I like. The other thing I'll call out is they've got a high pass filter and a low pass filter on this EQ. And let's go ahead and just do that at the cabs. So all the cabs should have low pass filter and high pass filter set. So this one does not. So we'll just do the standard 70 and 6,000. And this one, 80 and 7,000. So that's a little high. I like it a little bit lower than that. We can leave it at 80 though. So that way, we don't need this low high cut either. He's got that frequency kind of low, but we can tweak that frequency. So for this one, a little bit more. So we've got it 6,000. I think we can go ahead and kill this low high cut as well. So again, just trying to get a little more tight with the way we're doing the EQ on the preset. So now we've got our clean tone. That just has reverb. We've got our flanger. A lot of delay, we might come back to that. We've got this one. It's a nice sound. I might pull the delay back just a little bit, but we'll leave it for now. We've got an acoustic scene, which has a compressor, and it's turning on Rockman expert. So I don't know if they're using this with an electric guitar and acoustic guitar. They're also boosting the EQ. We'll leave it be for now. So we'll just leave that be for now. Let's go to the rhythm tone. So for the rhythm here, we're using a Marshall capture into the Mesa Boogie V3003. So that's my favorite cab. Wow, really pushing a lot of treble here. What I would probably do is bring this down just a little bit. I think maybe a little more bass than that. Maybe it was better. So that sounds pretty good. And then we go to the rhythm with distortion. So similar kind of thing, except they're using the myth drive. Okay, I think that's a little too much. And for a rhythm tone, this is way too much delay. So we're gonna bring that back. I'm going to do the same on both rhythms. I don't necessarily know that I would use a ping pong delay. I mean, sometimes I don't even use delay at all on the rhythm sound, but we'll leave it on. So they're pushing more gain through the Marshall capture. What if we reduce that a little bit? Instead, we push more gain through the clon. Maybe we'll keep more of the amp. All right, and last but not least, let's check out the solo tone. So again, we've got the myth drive. Now we're going into a car Mercury. Adding in these plug-in frequencies plus this EQ, and we're using this Marshall cabinet. Still, again, a little bit more treble than I would want. I think I'd bring this up a little bit more of a mid kind of clon thing. That sounds pretty good. Again, I would lower the mix a little bit on that. And bring back down the feedback. And bring the treble down on that. Yeah, I like that better. It had just a little bit too much top end. So let's go through all of our tones now, see what we got. So we've got our clean. We've got a clean with a flanger. We've got the clean with the chorus and the extra EQ. We've got our acoustic. And we've got our Marshall rhythm. We've got a heavier rhythm. And then we've got our solo. So in this, I'm going to just raise this up just a little bit, give a little bit more low end. Maybe bring the tube screamer frequencies down. The other thing I think here is, and this is maybe just my OCD talking, is all these lines moving around that aren't actual kind of splits and merges, they're just to get more space, bug me a little bit. So we freed up some space by removing a few things. So I would reorder some of these things. The way I would do it is, let's go ahead and move this back and move the EQ stuff. And what I would want to do is go ahead and get the overdrives up in front of all the amps. And then I would keep the amps kind of on their own here. And the nice thing about this is now you've got things kind of grouped together. So you've got your upfront pedals, compressor, flanger, all your overdrives, and then your amp. So as you're moving around, it's easier to kind of see, what you're switching around to. So that's it for the third instance of the Preset Doctor series. I'll make the preset available if you want to download it and check it out. The link for my Cortex Cloud account is in the description of the video. And if you're interested in having your preset looked at, you can find my contact info in the channel profile info. You can reach out to me via email or via Instagram. Thanks for watching.